What if the future of air warfare has already arrived, but most of it is still hidden from view? Imagine a bomber so advanced that even the world's most sophisticated radars can't see it. A warplane designed not just for today's skies, but for the battlefields of the 2050s. And a jet so secretive that, until recently, the public had only seen a single shadowy photograph. This is the B-21 Raider, America's brand new stealth bomber unveiled in December 2022. The first new bomber in more than 30 years, built to replace Cold War relics like the B-1 Lancer and the legendary B-2 Spirit. It is a plane designed to deliver nuclear or conventional strikes anywhere on Earth, against the most advanced air defenses ever built, and survive. For the United States, it represents nothing less than the future of global power projection. To understand why the B-21 matters, you have to understand its lineage. The story doesn't begin in 2022 or even in the 21st century. It begins in the late 1980s, when the US unveiled the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. With its futuristic flying wing design and radar-absorbing coating, the B-2 stunned the world. It could sneak past Soviet air defenses and deliver nuclear payloads deep into enemy territory. But it came at a staggering cost, more than $2 billion per aircraft. Only 21 were ever built. For years, the B-2 was America's ultimate ace, a ghost in the skies, slipping past defenses no one else could penetrate. But as decades passed, new radars emerged. China and Russia developed long-range detection systems and layered missile defenses. The B-2, once untouchable, suddenly looked vulnerable. The Pentagon faced a chilling question: what comes after stealth? Enter the B-21 Raider. Northrop Grumman, the same company that built the B-2, was chosen to create the new bomber. For years, the program was cloaked in absolute secrecy, described by officials as the most classified aircraft project in the world. Billions were spent behind closed doors. And then, on a cold December evening in 2022, the world saw it for the first time. The reveal took place in Palmdale, California. A hangar door slowly slid open. Floodlights illuminated a sleek, alien-looking silhouette. There it was, the B-21 Raider. At first glance, it resembled the B-2, another flying wing. But this was a sharper, leaner design, crafted with 3 decades of experience in stealth technology. Observers noticed its tighter wingspan, its cleaner lines, its new intakes. Journalists and military officials watched in awe. The message was unmistakable. The United States was preparing for wars no one else could fight. Even the name carried weight. Raider was chosen to honor the Doolittle Raiders of World War II, the 80 airmen who launched a daring bombing raid on Tokyo in 1942. Flying B-25s off an aircraft carrier, they proved that America could strike its enemies anywhere, no matter the risk. By naming the new bomber after them, the Air Force sent a signal. This is about reach, about daring, about the ability to project power wherever needed. But what truly sets the B-21 apart isn't just its name or even its shape, it's its purpose. Unlike fighters, bombers are not built to duel in the skies. They are built to deter, to project force, to make adversaries think twice before acting. The B-21 is intended to be the ultimate symbol of American resolve, invisible, unstoppable, able to carry either nuclear warheads or precision-guided bombs deep into hostile territory. It is not about winning every battle. It is about preventing wars before they start, by proving that America can strike at will, anywhere on the planet, even against the most formidable defenses. And that's why the B-21 matters. It is not just another airplane. It is the future of deterrence, a weapon designed to shape global strategy for decades to come. So the question remains, how do you build a bomber that can survive not just today, but tomorrow? What secrets allow the Raider to remain hidden in a world of ever-improving radars? And what technologies make it the most advanced aircraft ever constructed? If you're ready to dive deeper into the hidden design of the B-21, make sure you're subscribed and leave a like. Because what comes next will take us inside the shadowy world of stealth and reveal how this bomber could change the balance of power in the skies forever. If the B-21 Raider is the future of air power, then its greatest weapon isn't what it carries under its wings. It's what you can't see. At its core, the B-21 is a ghost, designed from the very first blueprint to slip past the most advanced detection systems on Earth. In a world where radars grow sharper and missiles faster, invisibility is no longer a trick. It's survival. The Raider's shape tells the story. From above, it looks like a sleek wedge of shadow cutting across the sky. Every curve, every angle, every panel has been sculpted with one mission in mind: to scatter radar waves, to melt into the background, to make a 160,000-pound bomber appear smaller than a bird on enemy screens. Its flying wing design reduces drag, increases efficiency, and eliminates the vertical tail fins that make conventional aircraft light up like Christmas trees on radar. But stealth is more than shape. The B-21 uses advanced radar-absorbing materials, the product of decades of secret research. Engineers describe the aircraft's skin as a cloak, a living surface that bends and swallows radar signals. Unlike the B-2, which requires massive hangars and days of delicate maintenance to reapply its coatings, the B-21 is designed for efficiency. Its stealth skin is durable, easier to maintain, and far cheaper, meaning the bomber can spend more time in the air and less time in the shop. Then there are the engines. On a conventional jet, the engine intakes and exhaust nozzles glow like beacons to radar and infrared sensors. On the Raider, they are buried deep inside the body, hidden from view, their signatures cooled and masked. Even the sound is engineered, a deep, muffled roar rather than a piercing shriek, making it harder to detect acoustically. Every detail whispers the same message: you won't find me until it's too late. But stealth is only half the story. The B-21 is built on a modular digital architecture, something no bomber has had before. In simple terms, this means the Raider is not locked into today's weapons and systems. Its design allows the Air Force to upgrade software, sensors, and payloads continuously, almost like updating a smartphone. As technology evolves, the B-21 evolves with it. That gives it a lifespan measured not in decades, but in generations. What does that mean in practice? It means today the Raider might carry precision-guided bombs. Tomorrow it could launch hypersonic missiles, direct drones in a swarm attack, or even carry weapons we haven't yet invented. The Air Force has hinted at another secret. The B-21 may be able to operate unmanned. In other words, it could fly into the most dangerous airspace in the world without risking a human crew. A stealth bomber that doubles as a stealth drone. The possibilities are staggering. And all of this is wrapped in an airframe designed to be smaller and cheaper than its predecessor. The B-2 Spirit cost over $2 billion per aircraft. The B-21, around $750 million per unit. Still a breathtaking number, but far more affordable for the Air Force, which plans to build at least 100 of them, perhaps even 145. For the first time since the 1950s, the U.S. could field a truly large fleet of advanced stealth bombers, not just a handful. Critics point out that stealth is never permanent. As radars improve, invisibility becomes harder to maintain. But the Raider's modularity ensures it can adapt. New coatings, new sensors, new jamming systems, all can be integrated without redesigning the plane itself. It is not a static bomber. It is a platform for continuous innovation. That's why some analysts call it the smartphone bomber. Not because it's fragile, but because it's endlessly upgradable. In the coming decades, while adversaries chase technology after technology, the B-21 will quietly evolve, staying one step ahead. The B-21 Raider is not just stealthier, it is smarter, leaner, and more adaptable than any bomber before it. It is a flying paradox, enormous, yet invisible, simple in shape, yet infinitely complex inside, and it was built with one purpose: to ensure that when the United States needs to strike, no enemy can stop it. But for all its promise, the Raider still faces its greatest test, proving it can actually fly and fight as intended. Programs like this often stumble, just as the Zumwalt destroyer and the F-35 fighter did in their early years. Will the B-21 overcome those challenges? Or will it become another costly dream weighed down by ambition? In the next part of our story, we'll explore the testing, the controversies, and the strategic role the Raider is meant to play in the skies of tomorrow. So before we move on, make sure you're subscribed and hit that like button. Because the deeper we go into the B-21 program, the more we'll uncover about the most secretive warplane in the world today. What happens when the world's most secretive bomber finally has to prove itself in the real skies? Building the B-21 Raider on paper was one thing, rolling it out for the cameras was another. But making it fly and fight is where dreams of invincibility meet the hard reality of physics, engineering, and budgets. From the very start, the B-21 program has been both a triumph of ambition and a lightning rod for controversy. At an estimated $750 million per aircraft, it is the most expensive bomber ever conceived. Multiply that by a fleet of at least 100 planes, and you're looking at a program that could cost over $80 billion. For critics, it's another symbol of runaway defense spending. For the Air Force, it's a price tag they argue is essential, because the alternative is falling behind in the global race for dominance in the skies. The first flight of the B-21 was one of the most anticipated aviation events in decades. After years of secrecy, rumors, and speculation, the Raider finally lifted off in late 2023. Witnesses described it as eerily quiet, a massive flying wing gliding effortlessly above the desert. For the engineers and airmen watching below, it was a moment of pride, but also a reminder. Every new warplane stumbles in its early years, and the B-21 would be no different. Already, challenges have emerged. The cutting-edge stealth coatings, while cheaper and tougher than those of the B-2, still require painstaking maintenance. The modular digital architecture, designed to future-proof the bomber, has sparked concerns about cybersecurity. If the Raider is essentially a flying computer, how do you protect it from hacking? And then there's the question of numbers. Even if the Air Force builds 100 B-21s, will it be enough to patrol the globe against rising threats from China and Russia? Some analysts warn that the Raider could face the same fate as the Zumwalt destroyer or the F-35 fighter. Brilliant on paper, plagued with cost overruns and technical failures in practice. Others insist the program is already learning from past mistakes. Unlike the B-2, which spiraled out of control financially, the B-21 was designed from the ground up with affordability in mind. Northrop Grumman used advanced digital engineering tools to streamline production. Instead of custom parts for every system, the Raider relies heavily on standardized components that can be upgraded or replaced with minimal redesign. Then there's the question of timing. The Air Force plans to have the B-21 fully operational by the early 2030s. That sounds far away, but in military planning it is tomorrow. China is rapidly expanding its bomber fleet with the mysterious H-20 project. Russia, while behind, continues to modernize its Tu-160 strategic bombers. In this race, delays are not just inconvenient. They could alter the balance of global power. Yet even amid the skepticism, the Raider has already begun to reshape military thinking. During classified briefings, Pentagon officials described the B-21 as a family of systems. That phrase hints at something bigger than a bomber. It suggests the Raider may one day control drone escorts, act as a flying command hub, or integrate with space-based assets. In other words, the B-21 is not just a plane. It is a node in a vast network of future warfare. And that is what excites strategists and terrifies adversaries. If the Raider works as promised, it won't just be another stealth bomber. It will be the backbone of America's ability to project power anywhere, even into the most heavily defended airspace on Earth. A machine built not to fight fair, but to guarantee that no fight ever starts. Still, the risks remain. Will the program deliver on time? Will costs spiral out of control? Will the Raider's secrecy hide flaws that emerge only in combat? No one knows for certain. But one thing is clear: the world is watching. Every test flight, every new detail, every hint of capability is studied not just by allies, but by rivals in Beijing and Moscow. And that raises the ultimate question: what role will the B-21 truly play in America's strategy for the 21st century? Will it remain a symbol of deterrence, or will it be forced to prove itself in battle? If you're as fascinated by this question as we are, make sure you're subscribed and leave a like, because in the next part, we'll explore how the B-21 Raider fits into the global balance of power, and why this ghostly bomber may decide the wars of the future before they even begin. The future of air power is not measured in dogfights or daring maneuvers. It is measured in reach, resilience, and the ability to project force anywhere on Earth. And that is where the B-21 Raider will carve its legacy. For decades to come, this bomber is expected to form the backbone of America's long-range strike capability, carrying the burden of deterrence on its sleek, silent wings. The Air Force envisions a fleet of at least 100 Raiders, maybe more, each one capable of penetrating the densest air defense networks, delivering precision or nuclear strikes, and vanishing before the enemy even knows what hit them. Together, they represent something the U.S. has not had since the early days of the Cold War. A truly modern, survivable bomber force on a scale large enough to shape global strategy. But the Raider's significance goes beyond numbers. It represents a philosophy shift, away from Cold War giants like the B-22, still flying after 70 years, and toward adaptable systems built for an era of constant change. Unlike past bombers, which were frozen in time, the B-21 has been engineered for growth. Its modular architecture means tomorrow's weapons can be integrated seamlessly. Directed energy lasers, electronic warfare suites, hypersonic missiles, drone swarms. The Raider is built not just to carry them, but to evolve with them. That adaptability is crucial in a world where threats are changing faster than ever. China is developing the H-20 stealth bomber, designed to challenge American dominance in the Pacific. Russia clings to its massive but aging fleet of Tu-95 and Tu-160 bombers, modernized but vulnerable. Smaller nations are racing to field advanced air defenses that can deny access to traditional aircraft. In this environment, a bomber that can disappear, adapt, and strike remains the ultimate insurance policy. There is also a symbolic weight to the Raider. When it takes flight over allied nations, it reassures them that America's shield still holds. When adversaries detect its presence, or fail to, it sends a different message. You can build walls of radar, you can stack batteries of missiles, but you cannot stop what you cannot see. In deterrence, perception is as powerful as reality, and the B-21's very existence forces opponents to recalculate. Of course, no weapon system is invincible. Stealth itself is a cat-and-mouse game, with radars growing more sensitive and algorithms more sophisticated. Critics argue that eventually the Raider will be detected just like its predecessors, but the key difference lies in preparation. The B-21 is not just a stealth bomber. It is a stealth platform, ready to integrate new tools, new defenses, new tricks that keep it relevant long after its rivals have gone obsolete. That is why many analysts call it the most important aircraft of the 21st century. Not because it will win battles by itself, but because it changes the calculations of every potential conflict. In the Pacific, in Europe, in the Middle East, anywhere America needs to send a signal, the Raider will be ready to fly. And if deterrence fails, it will not just send a signal, it will deliver consequences. The name Raider was chosen to honor heroes of the past, but its mission is firmly in the future. For the next half-century, the B-21 will embody the paradox of modern warfare, a weapon so powerful that its greatest achievement may be never firing in anger. By existing, it prevents wars. By flying unseen, it keeps peace visible. So the question we leave you with is this. Is the B-21 Raider the bomber that will shape the next 50 years of air power, or will it become another costly dream burdened by ambition? Time will decide. If you've enjoyed this journey into the shadows of America's most secretive warplane, hit that like button, share this video with friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Because the story of the B-21 isn't over, and neither is the race for the future of the skies. And here we'll be bringing you every chapter as it unfolds.